Hello everyone and welcome to a review of Flamecraft. In this you are cute dragons going to some very punnily named shops in a worker placement style game. Let's go over roughly how the game plays and then I'll give you my thoughts and feelings on it, and just know that Lucky Duck Games did provide it to me for the review. In Flamecraft, you're a dragon that's trying to gather resources, enchant shops and gain hearts, which are the victory points of the game. Points can be earned during the game via visiting certain shops, enchanting, they're going to give you some points. There's in-game scoring opportunities from fancy dragons as well as end-game scorings from fancy dragons. On your turn, you must move from the shop that you're in to a different shop along this high street. You're going to go to any of them, though if someone else's dragon is already there, you do need to pay them a good. Now if there's two players there, you'd have to pay both of them a good each. It can be any good, you could even give them a wild coin, but that's quite expensive because, well, they're also a point at the end of the game. You probably want to just give them, say, a bit of meat or bread. Going to a shop, well, that's going to then give you a choice. Are you going to gather there or enchant? The first few times you're probably going to be gathering the resources to do the enchantments, so let's go through that first. Now, all of the starting shops don't have an ability, but will have a starting dragon there, and you'll be adding dragons across sort of the market as you play. So let's say you're going to this shop, you're going to first of all gather the resources shown there. You're going to look what type of shop it is. So let's say it's the meat shop and you're going to, it's got a better name than that, and there is a 1 meat dragon there at the moment. You're going to gain 2 meat from the resource piles in the middle, and you're going to add that to your personal supply. You'll be able to spend them later on. Then, once you've gathered the resources, you have the opportunity to play a dragon from your hand to one of the empty spaces in the shop, if there is one. Now, these do have some caveats and some rewards. So let's say the spot where you want to add your dragon has one of the potion bottles or a diamond symbol. Well, you've got to add one of those dragon types to that spot and you'll get the printed reward. Rewards could be gain a dragon, gain a fancy dragon, maybe gain a coin, that sort of thing for placing a dragon there. Then you can choose to what is called fire up a dragon, which is basically use one of the dragons that's located there for their ability. Now, all meat dragons have the same ability, all diamond dragons have the same ability, etc. But these are going to do things like maybe swapping dragons around from one shop to another, maybe gaining you 3 resources, but they have to be different. So 1 anvil, 1 potion bottle and 1 bit of bread. Or maybe gaining 2 goods that are the same type, but it has to be an icon that's located in that shop. So maybe you're in the bread shop and you're going to take 2 bread for that one. Finally, when better shops are out along the street, they're also going to have an ability which you may or may not want to trigger. If on your turn you've added a 3rd dragon to any shop by cards at the bottom, that means you've sort of filled it up. There's no more slots for cards. You can still go there to gather and enchant, but you can't play more cards there. That shop is considered full and you'll be flipping a new one from the top of the deck, and it can just be added to any of the sort of shop spaces around the edge of the board. Once you've built up your resources, then you're probably going to want to do the enchant one, because this is points and points mean prizes. You're going to look at the available enchantments, though you may also have reserved one, which means only you has the opportunity to use that, and you're going to visit a matching shop. So let's say you've got the resources to do a diamond enchantment from the middle. So you're going to go to the diamond shop, but instead of gathering resources, you're going to take the enchant action. Well, you pay the resources on the diamond enchantment, which is effectively like a contract that you're fulfilling. Maybe it's some anvils, some diamonds, and a little potion bottle as well. You pay those resources back to effectively the bank, and you then add that enchantment to the shop. But you'll also get the reward printed at the bottom. This could be artisan dragons, points, which are the heart symbols, and sometimes they're in you have to turn resources in sets for enchantments. So it's a potion bottle and a bit of bread. Well, if you just do 1 of each, you enchant but don't get any points. But if you do 2 of each, then you get 2 points, 3 of each, 4 points, that sort of thing. So you do the enchantment, and then you can fire up all the dragons that are at that shop. Remember, that means effectively activating all of the dragon abilities on the cards that are there. When you're doing those dragons, you may or may not want to. Some, maybe it's play another dragon and you don't have any in your hand. That's absolutely fine. You just don't get that benefit. So why are you doing all of this? Well, going to the shops, gaining resources allows you to pay for those contracts, those enchantments. They're getting you points as well as making the board sort of a bit better for other people. So it means that shops giving more resources when you gather there. When new better shops come out, they've got abilities that may help you gain dragons, gain wild resources, so you could just choose what sort of resource you want and that sort of thing. And it's sort of eventually to get points. Now you're going to get fancy dragons. You'll start with 2, choosing 1, and then throughout the game you'll get additional ones as well. These are either sun ones or moon ones. The sun ones score during the game, and at any time on your turn you can sort of say, yep, I've done this and therefore I can score it. So maybe it's having certain types of dragons in a shop, or maybe it's that you've spent a certain number of resources or anything like that during the game. You can do those sun ones, and the moon ones are things at the end of the game. So maybe that is how many meat dragons have been placed into the town. You score a point for each, that sort of thing. And, well, you see who's got the most points, and that's how you win Flamecraft. So very simple. You're going to shops, you're either gathering or enchanting. If you're gathering, maybe playing a dragon there, firing up one to get an ability. If you're enchanting, firing them all up, and then, well, it goes around the table really quick, and that's how you play. Let's start off with an obvious pro. The production quality is definitely up there. Now, I think in part it's because of the game's design that this neoprene mat, this very long, nice neoprene mat, sits down the middle of the table. Now, I think it's kind of almost a necessity here, because I think if they'd gone for like a cardboard board, either they'd have to have redesigned it slightly, or it'd have many folds, and that could maybe be a bit of a weakness. Instead, they've got this lovely neoprene mat that just flicks out and you place it on the table. That's a really satisfying. It really makes it feel like a premium sort of quality game. Then you've got these lovely large cards for the shops with nice artwork. You've got all of the different dragons. Now, all meat dragons or bread dragons, whatever, all of the same type, have the same ability, but they've all got fun names, and it's a really nice production. Little things like the resources are really designed really clearly and differently. An anvil looks nothing like a slice of bread. They really are very distinctive. Having 6 different types of resource you think might be confusing, but they're all really distinct, and that's all great and done well through the production quality to make it really simple. One thing I would say that just slightly would have improved it for me, I'm not the best at reading upside down. Now for the dragon cards, it doesn't matter too much. As I alluded to, all of the diamond ones are the same. So if a diamond one is over there, you know it's the same power as the diamond one over here, and by playing you pick those up really quickly. But because the shops come out and they could be different from one game to another, or probably will be, it does mean I need to be able to read what that shop over there does. Most people won't have a problem with it. I struggle to read upside down, so it would have been nice if it had, like, at the bottom of the card the ability, and then at the top reversed around so people could read it from across the table. They're relatively simple powers, so it's not hard. It just takes me personally a few extra seconds to read what something is upside down, sort of twisting my neck, sort of trying to work it out. And to be honest, once you've used the shop once, you kind of know what it does, and there's not too many in a game, so it doesn't matter too much. It's a slight niggle. I just think it would have just been that touch nicer. But I can't say the production is bad, because the rest of it is phenomenal, and that's just a little thing that could have made it phenomenal plus. Aside from the production, the thing that's going to attract a lot of people to Flamecraft is the theme. You are getting a game here that is very cute dragons, and it really does sort of lay into that. Not only do the shops have some really great names, like Critical Roles for the bakery shop, that like little sort of names like that really do sort of make it really fun when you're placing these shops down. But even the dragon cards themselves, like the meat ones, you've got like brisket or potato, and then for like the anvil ones there's one called flint and different things like that. They're quite sort of fun, quirky sort of names that match up to their type. Dragon type. It's just a lot of cuteness, a lot of fun that they've clearly sort of had coming up with these shops. So I really do like that, and if that's what you were going into the game looking for, I think you'll enjoy that, and there's a good game under there too. Some people have said that this is a gateway style game, and I think they're almost correct. I would label this personally as a gateway plus. That next stepping stone after you've played a super basic gateway style game. I think Flamecraft is that next game if you're just looking to up it a little bit, because it's really simple at the start of the game, very easy to explain what you're doing. You've got two action options. You go to a shop regardless, and then you choose, are you gathering and doing that, or are you enchanting and doing that? It's that simple at the start of the game, and with the starter shops there, sort of already without abilities, it just means at the start of the game, you're not doing too much. And it gives you, and new players, just that couple of rounds, just seeing a few dragon cards, a couple of shops without abilities on them, and you're just triggering those, and you start, yeah, alright, I know what all the meat dragons do, I know what all the diamond dragons do, I know what the potion ones do. And then slowly as the game progresses, it starts to get a little bit meatier. And I don't just mean because of the meat dragons. I mean, you're getting a shop that comes out with an ability, or multiple shops with abilities. All of a sudden when you go to this shop, you're choosing, okay, I'm gathering those resources, but there's multiple dragons there to fire up. Which one do I want to? There's a choice there now, rather than before it was just I went there, got some resources, and maybe did the one dragon that was already there. So you've got choices that build up, but they don't necessarily become too complicated. They do become bigger. Certainly when you enchant, you're firing up potentially 3 dragons, as well as trading in resources, getting points, maybe gaining a dragon from the market, and different things like that. So you have these bigger turns as the game progresses, but it's sort of progressed with you. At the start, it's nice and simple. One ability, triggering, gathering, nice, that's simple. And as the game goes on, there's more choices because there's multiple dragons to pick from, even more shops to pick from. So it sort of levels up the difficulty, or not, it's not really difficult, but it just levels up the choices as you progress along the game. And I really do like that. That's why I think it's great for that Gateway Plus. Those shop powers can really change the game up. There's quite a lot. There's like just under 30 included, and then there's some promo shops you can get as well. So I think in my box there's 28 plus some promo ones in there. Well, you're actually only using the 6 starter shops with the 6 starting dragon cards, and then you're using like a deck of 10. You've got to use, or it sort of suggests for your first games, you're using one of each normal type, and then shuffle in some of the different ones, like gain a dragon or gain a wild resource, gain coins. And it means that you can have very different games. You can have completely different shops coming out from one game to the next. And they do spice things up. One of them, my favourite and least favourite ones, is one where you go and you gain 3 coins. That's really cool. Coins are wild. But it also then gives you a choice. Do you want to flip them or not? And I am a sucker for pushing my luck. If you flip the coin and it lands on heads, you gain 2 points, 2 hearts. That's brilliant. But if you get tails, you lose the coin. So you can go to that shop, gain 3 coins. You could come out with it with those 3 coins and 6 points. Or you could come out of it gaining 3 coins and losing 3 coins. And that's why I love it, and I hate it because it's got that push your luck. That only that shop, maybe in that game, gives you that sort of opportunity. And these aren't just sort of big changing ones like that. There's other stores which just mean you can go there and pay a certain type of resource, maybe to refire one of the dragons you've just done. So you could go there, fire a dragon and gain some resources, and then fire it again and gain more resources. So you've kind of like, oh, I've got some of these potion bottles, but I don't really need them for what I'm going for. I can go there, cash them in and get 6 resources on a turn, which is huge just from firing that dragon, let alone the gathering at that shop. So the shop abilities, some of them are just like get you that extra bit, like that sort of pay resources to refire a dragon, and others can be just like, whoa, that's completely different, like flipping a coin, and you're going to get very different ones from one game to another. With all of the opportunities on a turn to gather things, fire dragons, enchant, etc., you'd think it might take a while to get round the table. Well, actually, I've found because kind of you can work out, I'm going to be gathering this turn or I want to be enchanting before it comes round to you, it's kind of really quick round the table. Yeah, you might have some choices on your turn of you're going to go to that shop, or should I go to that shop because I can get similar resources, but which dragon ability maybe could I fire up and use when I'm gathering resources and stuff like that. There's some choices, and it means sometimes it comes back round the table and you're like, oh, I still haven't worked out which one I'm going to. And your opponents do matter, right? They're at that sort of shop there. I don't really want to go and pay them a resource to use that, so maybe that's changed my mind, or maybe they've just pipped me to getting that enchantment. I need to sort of try and work out how I can use these resources on another one, or sort of use things slightly differently now. Or I've just drawn this fancy dragon and, oh, I kind of want to aim for this because that's like 5-6 points maybe on offer for doing this one. So different things do drag you from one way to another, and sometimes it will take a little bit longer on a turn, but often it's really quick round the table. So overall, Flamecraft, I've really enjoyed it, and I really like a number of things about it. It's super simple to teach because you've got those 2 different actions you can do, gather or enchant, but they do sort of become bigger and better as the game progresses. As you're gathering more, you're sort of getting those points, and hopefully near the end of the game you're getting more. You've got those in-game scorings, those after-game scoring fancy dragons. I really like all of that, and it's a cool sort of light worker placement game. I don't want to egg on the complexity too much. I do think it is a gateway plus level game with amazing production quality. I know I said there's the little niggle of me sort of being able to see something upside down across the table, but that's a super slim problem that most won't have an issue with, and you do pick them up very quickly. You've also got a huge amount of variability in the box, be that from the 2 different enchantment decks, be that from just the sheer number of shop stores that are just put back in the box after setup. Means they're going to be completely different potentially when you shuffle them up for the next game, and I really do like that. If you're looking for a relatively light worker placement game with a cute dragon theme that's got some cool little things you can do, well, Flamecraft might be the one for your collection. Let me know if this review has helped you. If you've played the game, what did you think of it? And until next time, have a flaming good day.